Hello friends, let's talk about the latest cue card today. So the topic which we are going to discuss, describe a time when you were stuck in a traffic jam. So we need to talk about a particular time when you were stuck in a traffic jam. So the questions are first and where it happened. You need to talk about the time and the place. Then how long you were in the traffic jam. So how long means time. You have to talk about time for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, whatever it is. What you did while waiting. So what you did, that you need to tell about. Then explain how you felt at that time. So it's all about your feeling. Okay, so always make sure whenever you start talking about any of the cue card, you must cover up all these questions. If you are missing any of the question, any of the particular point, so examiner will be deducting your score from that. Right, so as usual we are going to start with an introduction, and the introduction for this is traffic congestions have become a commonplace in metropolitan cities in the contemporary era. So instead of traffic jams, we have taken a word traffic congestions, and they have become a commonplace. Commonplace means quite ordinary or a popular sight to see. So whenever you go to visit any of the big city, metropolitan means big cities. So whenever you visit any of the big city and all, you will see the traffic jams over there in the contemporary era. Contemporary era means nowadays. Okay, so in that way when you give a beautiful introduction, so that will give you confidence, right? So the next is, I reside in a small town, so I'm not habituated to stuck in traffic. So it's not habitual, it's I'm not habituated. Habituated means I'm not used to these kind of traffic congestions. So these kind of vocabulary words you can use to improve your score in speaking. Now the first question, when and where it happened. So it happened last week. This is the time, and where? Delhi. So it happened last week when I went to Delhi to attend my cousin's wedding. We entered Delhi at around 7 p.m. and as soon as we entered, I realized that traffic was moving at a snail's pace. So when you say was moving very slowly, so very slowly is a simple word. Instead of asking very slowly, we would better say at a snail's pace. Right. Now after that, the second question. So due to evening time, people were heading towards their homes. So why there was a lot of traffic? The reason behind this is the rush hours, the peak hours. So because of that peak hours, people, everybody, their offices were over and they were heading towards. Heading towards means they were moving towards. They were moving towards their homes, and it took 2 hours to cover the distance of 15 kilometers only. So the distance of 15 kilometers, which can very well be covered in 15 minutes, but instead of like covering it up in 15 minutes, it took me 2 hours. Okay, so however what happened is, like after 15 minutes only, I started feeling impatient. Why? Because I'm not habitual of these kind of traffic jams. So after 15 minutes only, I became annoyed and frustrated and called my cousin. So annoyed and frustrated means I was extremely unhappy. Right, I wasn't like knowing what to do, how to deal with this situation and all. So nothing was coming to my mind. At the same time, I started feeling hungry also. Okay, so I finally thought of calling up my cousin so that she might tell me something. She laughed at first. So when I called her up and explained like this is what happening, traffic is not moving, it is very slow, what should I do and all. So after listening whatever I was speaking to her, she laughed. Okay, why? Because she was born and brought up there. She knows about it very well. So initially she laughed at first and suggested me to watch some web series or movie on Netflix. So then she asked me, right, that it's better if I should watch some movie or any web series on Netflix or on any other these online platforms. She was born and brought up in Delhi, so she is habitual to such roadblocks. Roadblocks means these traffic jams. Right, so that is why when she heard me, so like all of a sudden she's burst with laughing. Why? Because this is gonna happen, and in fact if I talk about myself, I wasn't prepared for that. Then her suggestions pacified me. Pacified means calm down my anger. Okay, so I was angry, I was frustrated, but when she told me this is how I need to deal with the situation, so I understood her completely. So her suggestion specified me, and I started watching a comedy movie, and that comedy movie I have downloaded in my mobile, and just I have kept it so that whenever I get time I would be watching it. I wanted to watch it, but since I was busy in shopping and all for my cousin's wedding, I wasn't getting time to watch it. So basically that traffic jam came out as a blessing in disguise for me. Blessing in disguise means that situation was not favorable, but I made it favorable by utilizing the time on my cousin's suggestions. So I watched that comedy movie and opened up a packet of chips that I was carrying with me. Why? Because I was feeling hungry as well. So as soon as I started watching that movie, I got busy in that movie and forgot all about, about the traffic is and all, whatever was happening around me. I was completely unaware about that. After 2 hours, finally everything was fine and I reached at my uncle's home. But when I reached at that time, my movie also got over and I was happy because I watched that comedy movie, and since it was a comedy movie, obviously I was laughing like anything. So at the end I felt delighted and cheerful. Okay, so this was the scenario that I got stuck in a traffic jam, but I utilized this opportunity to do something favorable, and instead of getting annoyed, actually I utilized the time, and at the end I was ecstatic, I was happy, I was delightful. Okay, so I hope this topic is clear to you. Now you can speak on the topic nicely, and if you have any doubt you can write down there in the comment section. Keep learning with me. All the best.